Today, we're diving into the exciting topic of building wealth through your home. Whether this is the first time you ever owned a home, whether you've had it for a long time, there's numerous ways to build wealth, and we're going to dive into those today. We're glad that you're watching the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Here we go. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where you're going to get the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to get anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it here today. I am Mike Elkins with Elite Realty Group in Morristown, Tennessee, and I've got my brother and partner in crime, Mr. Dave Elkins, with me, and we're ready to talk about the exciting topic of building wealth.
Yeah, I mean, ain't that what life's about, right?
Who does not want to build wealth?
I do.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I think everybody does.
No doubt about it. We just happen to be in the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so real estate is one of the, if not the top way, there probably been, more wealth built through buying and selling real estate than maybe anything else is out there. I don't have that stat.
Historically, it's always a great investment.
There's no doubt about it.
No, there's no disputing that. We're going to have the naysayers right off the bat that say people's coming in right now overpaying for homes.
I'm sure.
Historically, you will always come out to the good.
I'm 100% certain of that. There's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs of everything. I don't think, when you talk about building wealth, lately this has been the truth, but I think short term, you don't need to look at it short term.
Right.
But I think people that want to be those naysayers, that's where they start coming out.
Yeah.
Like they're the short termers.
Yeah, because no doubt about it, across the world, home prices have went up drastically.
No doubt.
Across the world.
No doubt.
But
you got to throw land in there too.
You got to throw land in there as well. I mean, they're not making it no more.
No.
So land prices are going up as well.
Right.
You see a big influx in our area of new construction. New construction homes are going up everywhere.
Absolutely.
So land is at a premium right now.
Sure. And again, as we hit starting out here, building wealth, who don't want to build wealth? Using though what kind of the way we're going to dive into this today is I don't know that a lot of people out there are aware. We look so much into real estate. Again, short term, I'm looking at real estate as, okay, I need this location because of jobs and schools and this payment works. And we look at it in that glass, if you would have it.
Yeah.
But real estate does so much more for you than just, if you do things the right way, than just providing the right location so you're not driving, an hour to work.
Right.
The right bedrooms and baths that fit your family and all those things. Real estate being an owner of real estate will do so much more for you that I think a lot of people really miss that.
They miss that, yeah.
I really do think they miss that. And so that's what we want to dive into today. Of course, if you need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, that's a total different subject here.
Right.
We're talking about how to use the existing home you have, or maybe you're that person that you're going to buy a home, but look at it past the location, the payment, the beds, the baths, the fireplaces, the pools. Look at it more than that.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you really do, that's where the eye-opening conversation of wealth and building it, that's where it really comes into play.
Right.
So we're going to look at some areas today about using real estate that you already currently own to build that wealth, okay? Yeah. A couple areas we're going to talk about is how to use your home through equity. We're going to talk about how to use your home through maybe a rental program.
Yep.
We're going to talk about refinancing. We're going to talk about several areas here that, again, I don't know that a lot of people sit down and really think about it.
Right.
There's a conversation, and it's not for today's podcast, that there's this thing that everybody wants to know what their net worth is.
Yeah.
And that's just, net worth can come from a lot of places.
Right.
But you're probably not going to get any bigger spot as to the accumulation, unless you're a business owner or something like that, of what's going to play into your net worth.
For the normal average Joe, that's
for the person.
That's where
you're going to build it.
That number's at, yeah.
Through real estate.
Yes.
You're going to build it. So again, I'm excited to dive into this. I think we can give some eye-opening information. We always say this on every podcast we do, but we still get hit back on what I'm getting ready to say. Nothing in financial conversation, whether we're talking about real estate, taxes, what you got in your bank account,
right?
What kind of car you drive, none of that stuff can we throw one blanket over and hit every individual and say everybody
should do this today.
Pertains to everybody.
Yeah.
It does not.
No, your financial situation is different than everybody else in the world.
I
so
agree.
Before you do any of these things,
sure,
it's always good to sit down with a professional, have a consultation, and see if these things could work for you.
I agree.
Because again, for a lot of people, this is going to be a good thing, but it's not for everyone.
Yes. We will talk about things today that don't line up with you as an individual personally. Like it doesn't line up. You ain't going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Some people can't go get a HELOC right now.
Right.
They don't have the equity in their home to go get it.
That does not mean that this is wrong.
Right.
You got to look at it, and these ideas and information is things that everybody needs to, as you said, evaluate for their own selves and kind of see where this goes. All right, so let's dive in. All right, using your home, unlocking wealth, okay, through using your home. Now, you kind of touched on this just a few moments ago, but let's go this. The first way I want to talk about, and let's dive into, and we got 4 different places here we're going to look at, but literally, first up, we've got maximizing, okay, that's what we want to do. That's how you build wealth, but maximizing equity in our home through strategic improvements of the house, okay?
Right.
We get asked all the time, how can I improve the value of my home? Simple question,
It
okay?
is, yeah.
But let's start there and dive in. Let's dig this apart. How can someone, or what's the best way that someone can maximize equity through these strategic improvements in their home? Go. What's on top of your head?
So you just got to do improvements to your home.
Sure.
So again, now this is where there's some confusion at sometimes.
I'm with you.
Okay. Because unpopular opinion here, but adding a new roof to your home is not really an improvement as far as the value goes. Does it improve the home?
Absolutely.
Sure, but that's not necessarily to say that that's going to give you some value for your home.
Right.
We're talking today about like remodeling kitchens.
Sure.
Everybody knows kitchens is where it's at. Kitchens,
Absolutely.
Bathrooms, those are major things. Again, in our area specifically, you're talking about remodeling or completely adding square footage to the
That's what I was going to go on to.
Yeah.
Basements is a big way you can add
basements
value.
is an easy way because square footage, finished living space, the fastest way you can add value to your home.
No doubt about it.
So again, several things you can do, but kitchens, bathrooms, adding square footage, sunrooms, finished basements, those things add value to your home.
Correct. And I think you got to look at that. And I think we can split some spots here. And I think we should just for conversation. We'll go back, though, just for a moment. Roofs, HVAC, you know, those kind of things, paint. While that helps you.
Right. Oh, they help.
It helps you, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to say that or we're going to get hit. It helps you, no doubt. And what you have to say is that doesn't necessarily, as you said, build this big value in your home.
Right.
It's going to help you sustain and help you stay comparable to everything else in your neighborhood versus if you had a hole in your roof, your windows were busted out.
Right.
It's going to just get you to where you should be, but it doesn't necessarily be this big value builder.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You've got to kind of change something to build that value.
Yeah.
Again, kitchens are great, bathrooms are great, but let's go to what I think is the best way. And that is adding that square footage. Okay.
Right.
When you look at pricing a house, the more square footage you got, the more value you have. Okay.
Right.
So if you're out there, you're listening to this podcast, you've got that standard 1,500 square foot house, you've got an unfinished basement that's got a 2-car garage downstairs. Adding the quickest way to add that value to your house is taking half of that. Keep your garage.
Right.
Take half of that. So now I've got 750 square feet of footage that I'm adding. Okay.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily to split hairs here because we could ask this. What needs to be in that square footage? Should it be a bedroom? Should it be a kitchen? Should it be? It's so, again, home specific that there's not a blanket we can throw over that.
Right.
But when you talk about building wealth, because that's what we're going to loop this all back to, do those things, go from, a 1985 kitchen to an updated kitchen today, you're building wealth.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that more in just a moment.
Right.
But the square footage, I've got 750 more square feet to live in now than I did 2 weeks ago.
Instant value.
That's instant value. So our topic was to maximize the equity. Okay.
Right.
So let's just cut this and elementary it down. Everybody understands it. If your house, before you would do this square footage addition to it, is a 1,500 square foot house, I'm going to go easy math. It's at $200 a square foot. That's a $300,000 house every day of the week.
Right.
I added $750 a square foot to it. We could
750
argue
square feet.
750 square feet. I'm sorry, to the house.
Right.
So we could argue what I'm getting ready to say back and forth. Is that $200 a square foot? Maybe. Is it $100 a square foot? Maybe. The point is, let's just go say, okay, it's $100 a square foot.
Right.
I added 750 square feet at $100 a square foot. I've added $75,000 of equity to my home.
Right.
That is building wealth.
That is building wealth.
Now, it's going to cost you to do that.
Right. But you're not going to have that in it. Let's go ahead and tell you, you will not.
You're not going to have that in it.
Unless you go crazy.
Yeah. Unless you do. And that's what I'm saying. But adding that square footage is now building equity, which in turn for you as a homeowner builds your wealth.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just go crazy out on the line here that, half of that 75,000, it costs you to put the 750 square feet in. Look at the wealth, though. You still built yourself.
Right. You
still built the wealth in already taking your existing home. Now your net worth is 35, 38, whatever you want to say, $1,000 more than when we started this project.
Right.
I think a lot of people really miss that.
Oh, yeah.
That I can use my home.
Use what I got right now.
What I've already got. I don't have to go out here and invest it in a stock. I don't have to worry about the market going up and down and this and that and all that. But I used what I already had. And I invested it the right way. I did the right improvements. Same rules will apply for kitchens and baths and all those kind of things that builds your wealth as an individual.
And to me, again, the longer that goes, that's more value.
No doubt.
Because again, historically, home prices go up. So those numbers that we just used, the $200 a square foot, the $100 a square foot, that's going to change.
And let me inject here. That's for illustration purposes only.
Right. Yeah.
We fully understand in different parts of the country that things cost different. We use 200 and 100 here today because that's easy math.
Right.
Okay, that's easy math.
Right.
We could go every way in the world on that conversation. But that is a way that you can immediately build your wealth, build the equity in your home. You look at it and say, okay, I bought the house at a 1,500 square foot house. Now I'm selling it as a 2,200 square foot house.
Right.
It's going to sell for more.
Right.
It's going to get more.
Absolutely.
That's going to all be more.
Yeah.
That will also play into something, though, that we talk about here in a minute in equity and HELOCs or a home equity line of credit, what it's called. That all is going to play into this by you building your wealth.
Right.
How can I get my hands on that money now? I did that. I don't want to sell my house.
Right.
How can I get on that? We're going to dive into that here in just a few moments. So number one, you can maximize the equity in your house by doing the right improvements.
Right.
Okay. But again, sit down before you just go crazy. So I'm going to improve everything about it. Is it really going to improve and give you the equity? That's something you got to look at individually.
Plug for realtors here. That's a great time for if you're a homeowner and you want to make some of these improvements. Call up your local realtor and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing some stuff to add more value to my house. I'd love for you to come out and look at it, give me some ideas. And a realtor will be glad to tell you some things that you could possibly do to your house. That would add value.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So again, equity, that's a way for you to build wealth in it. Second way let's dive into, let's talk about a little bit. And this one is honestly becoming the way I'm going to present it. You may present a different way, but I'll come back to this. Is gaining popularity in the whole entire country. And it's because there's a lot of people that's listening to this podcast right now that are homeowners, they have a 3%
or
lower interest rate
right,
on their house.
My mind was the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to look at is generating passive income, equity, wealth, all those things.
Right.
Generating passive income through rentals.
Right.
Okay. Through rentals. What's on your mind about how we can build, again, our net worth, build our, personal portfolio through rentals?
So are we, speaking about the interest side
Let's
of it.
just go with it. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple different ways. One, what you was touching on was that, again, so many people across the country right now has crazy low interest rates.
Big time.
And so what a lot of people is doing is they're simply renting out their house because, again, we've talked about this in previous podcasts, is that you think about people complain about home prices going up.
Right.
Rental prices have skyrocketed as well.
Massive.
So rentals is one of the most in-demand things that there is right now.
Yes.
So a lot of people are keeping those extremely low interest rates and not selling their house because they're locked in at 2%.
Right.
And they don't want to sell that.
Right.
So, but they're keeping that house. They're renting it for 3 times as much as their payment is.
Right.
And pocketing that money.
I agree.
Those people are living in their house. They're paying their payment and they're making double the money per month.
Right.
Building their own personal wealth by using someone else's money.
I agree. There's all kinds of stipulations and different types of loans. And can you do it? Can you not do it? That's a conversation you got to have with whoever.
Right.
If you own on your home, or if you owe on your home.
Right.
Yeah, we're not telling you that. Again, it's not a blanket that you can say that. But I think a lot of people are doing that. Another thing, again, going right along with that people are doing is more and more and more. You see it all the time. They're not renting the whole house.
No, they're
not
fixing
renting
that basement.
They're doing what we said in point number 1.
Yeah.
They're putting more square footage in a whether that's an addition.
Right.
There may be people here listening watching. You're not in an area where basements like we are. Everybody's got basements here.
Right.
But people are literally just adding square footage.
People's renting out rooms.
And they're renting rooms.
Yeah.
And they're renting, they're putting these little suites that are adding onto their house because they can almost, because of what's happened in the rental market, they can take that 750 square foot because they've got a 3% interest rate.
Right.
Put a little kitchenette in it. Put a small living room in it and a bedroom, a bath and all in this 750 square feet, whatever. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
But they're renting that out for their entire mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Or more.
Right. Because they have a crazy low interest rate with a low house payment.
And they're still living in their house.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now they're living there rent free, if you would have it, mortgage free.
Right.
Now, let's just cut to the chase here. If you're no longer paying your $1,500 a month mortgage payment, you're building wealth.
Yeah.
Every single month. Plus, you're getting your house payment paid over here by somebody else.
Right.
That you just went and said a few moments ago that is likely increasing in value.
Right.
That's all building your wealth.
Yeah.
That is all using again. We're not today saying go out and buy stuff to make this happen.
Right.
This is something you may already own that allows you to build your wealth.
Right.
Renting rooms, renting spots, renting space, those kind of things are what we see really starting to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just go back completely off subject of this right here, but let's talk about just rentals as a whole. I mean, a lot of people throughout the years have bought homes strictly for
where I was going to go
rental property.
Right.
So, I mean, this is something that's been going on for years. Those people don't do that because they like to provide housing to people.
I agree.
They do that because that is building their personal wealth.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's done.
No doubt. And like you said, that's something that's been done forever. Okay.
Yeah.
So you might be out there listening to that. And the next little part, we're going to give you a little tip maybe to get into that. But that's been done forever.
Right.
Okay. We literally just had a conversation the other day. We've got a house that's on the market, but the people bought when the rates were super low. Smart buy. Their home in that time has increased almost $200,000, first of all, in value. Okay, for those haters out there.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Right.
It's true. Mm-hmm. But their home, so there's wealth they built.
Right.
But they literally said to us, like, we're not, I'm going to get on, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here, okay. But we're going to go down it. Like debt, consumer debt, credit card debt, all that stuff in our country right now is skyrocketed. Man. Multiple reasons. Okay. Right. We can throw a lot, multiple reasons, but that's leading to what my conversation is about this particular situation. They literally made the statement to us, look, I've got this super low rate on this house. Mm-hmm. However, I've had other expenses that are now in my life that I did not have when I bought this house.
Right.
Okay. And just be honest with you, I can't really do this no more. So I got to sell this house. Right. But before I would ever lose this house, mm-hmm. I know what I can rent it for and I know what my payment is.
Right.
So before I get any deeper in this, I'd like to sell it first because I've got equity that will allow me to do a whole lot of other things that I want to do.
Right.
But before I lose it, I will rent it.
Yeah.
And I will make money. And what I make off of the rent will still give me leftover every month, pay me rent for somewhere else, mm-hmm. and I can get my house paid for at the same time.
Right. So that's kind of but I'm saying, like, I think other people should hear what you just said as far as if you own a home right now.
Right.
Like we just said, man, don't lose the house.
No.
Because we know life has went up crazy in the last couple of years.
It's crazy.
So prices on everything, car payments, if you bought new cars, insurance, mm-hmm. everything,
credit
cards, groceries, gas, everything has went up.
Right.
So, but I'm saying you've got a house. If mm-hmm. you've got a house, there's a really good chance you've got equity in that house.
Sure.
Don't lose the house.
No.
Don't lose the house and give away your equity. A lot of people just, when they get in that mental state,
I agree.
They just forget everything.
Sure.
And they say, you know what? I'm letting everything go. Don't let the house go.
No.
There's equity there. There could be equity in other things you got as well. But I'm saying, like, that's big.
Right.
Don't let that go.
Right.
Stick a renter in there if you have to. Sell that thing if you have to. Yeah. Don't just give it away.
No about it. And again, that's where the whole rental side mm-hmm. can come in and help you. That's where you can build your wealth through using, again, what you already have, mm-hmm. building your wealth through the rental side of this. This is the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Here's what you're listening to today. Just different ways to maximize your wealth through the home that you already have. We're not talking about really going out buying new.
Right.
We're not talking about going and doing this or that and waiting 7 or 8 years. We're talking about something you already have today. That is the home that you own. Now, listen, if you've not subscribed to the podcast, wherever you're watching, listen, make sure you do that for us today as we put out new episodes weekly. Again, to give you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to find anywhere on the planet. We're glad that you're taking the time to listen or watch us today. We've been through 2 of the 4. Let's look at number 3, and I think this is going to jump back and hit on the ways that you can actually do fund, if you would have it, numbers 1 and 2. And that is the third strategy, is harnessing the power of a home equity loan or a HELOC.
Right.
All right. Tell the people, my friend, what you know about HELOC.
These things are scary to people sometimes.
They are.
And they should be looked at rightfully so.
Right.
They're not a terrible thing. Let's just go ahead and say that.
It's not free money.
It's not free money.
No.
Right. But it is a great thing.
Absolutely.
Because again, you have equity, mm-hmm. value, money, whatever you want to say, in your home.
Sure.
Okay. So you're going to take money of your home
mm-hmm.
and you're going to be able to use that money for whatever you deem necessary.
Right.
But again, that's just like going back to number 1 we was talking about these updates, upgrades, and add-ons. And
mm-hmm.
so you could borrow money from your house
sure.
to remodel your house.
Right.
So that could be one way you could use a HELOC.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, again, being honest, they're taking HELOCs right now and they're paying off these 30% interest rates on credit cards.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
Yeah, they're paying off these crazy credit card balances. And, you know what I mean? So, but again, key thing I want to say about HELOCs is you got to make sure that you are responsible with those things.
Oh, no doubt.
Because again, at the end of the day, you are borrowing money against your house.
Against your house. That could eat up that equity.
That could eat up your equity if you need to get rid of your house.
Sure.
Now you do not have equity in
Sure.
your home.
Yeah, and most of those, they won't loan you more than 80% of what the value of the house is. So you don't necessarily eat it all up, but But the responsible that you said there just a few minutes ago, you have to be responsible.
Right.
But you really have to look at this and say, there's so many thoughts on all of this. I mean, there's just so many thoughts on all of the using home equity lines of credit, what to use it for. Again, there's no blanket to say everybody do this. But I mean, I think it's safe to say for a moment, for a thought. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go extreme end of this, but honestly, I think you really got to have this thought. You said it. You got 25% interest on your credit cards, 30%, some more than that.
Right.
But, those payments you're making on those they're being eat up. What you're paying interest. That's it.
Right.
I mean, really, realistically, that's it.
Right.
You're looking at it and saying, you really think I get a home equity line of credit right now and pay 8% interest rate or whatever that it is? I just use that as an example. But my point is, 8's less than 25 every day of the week.
Right.
So that's where sitting down with a financial advisor kind of person, they're going to work this math all the way out for you and be able to tell you these things.
Right.
Our purpose today is to give you the thought that this stuff is even real. Mm-hmm. Because us being in real estate, and we do get those calls, like you just said a moment ago, that, look, y'all got to do something for me right now, because people's waited so long in the process of being in a bad financial situation, and they waited so long in the process that they've got 2 weeks before their home's going to be taken from them. And we get those calls.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, y'all got to do something.
Got to do something now.
I got to get rid of this now. Mm-hmm. And for waiting that long into the game, we're too late to do some stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we got to sell for pretty much as quick and just to get you out of here if you're not wanting to lose it. It's hard to do anything at that point in time. So that's why we do these podcasts. We're just trying to give people ideas here today. Okay, we're not saying go do this.
No, you don't. You don't have to do any of these things. No. So, but there again, being in real estate, a lot of people. I'm surprised by the fact that a lot of people don't even know that there is a such thing as a home equity line of credit and what it even pertains to.
I know.
But I always tell people, if you're going to do that, you know what I mean? You got to be smart about what you're spending the money on.
I agree.
And I tell them the safest things that you can use that money for is to upgrade and improve your current house that you have.
No doubt.
Because again, at the end of the day, if you ever sell, you're going to recoup your money there.
I agree.
So be smart about what you're doing with that money.
I agree.
Again, talk to a financial advisor. That's the best. That's the best advice you can give. Is talk to a financial advisor about your plans, what they see. Let them run all the numbers. They'll tell you if what's right.
I agree. Because they're going to look at your whole entire financial situation.
Right.
Cars, credit cards, secondary loans, those kind of things that all people probably have, most people. But they're going to be able to look at all of that and say, okay, here are options that you have.
Right.
Here are things that you need to do that's going to, in turn, build your wealth. So let's go to the last one. This one probably sums the whole thing up, okay? And again, we're talking about how to unlock wealth, okay? Strategic ways to leverage stuff that we already have. Now, I'm going to jump back just for a moment. We talked about a home equity line of credit. But the last way is strategically buying, selling, investing, whatever you want to say, through all of those things, through the actual home that you have, you can use that home to buy another home.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. You can use that home, but refinance. I didn't even finish it. Strategic buying, selling, refinancing, those kind of things. It's all going to come down to you personally as to when, where, how, and all this happens.
Right.
But literally using maybe your home to buy that investment home.
Right.
Okay. maybe selling your home because you've got equity and you can do it to maybe buy multiple investments or these type of things. But buying, selling, refinancing. Now, you don't hear a lot of talk about refinancing right now.
No, I mean, it's not a really popular thing. I've seen a couple of them popping up here. A couple lenders that I'm friends with have been talking about that refi is actually popping up a little bit. And again, I think it goes back to this whole credit card.
No doubt. But that's strategic stuff. That's strategic that you have to look at it and say, I've got a 5%, I've got a 3% interest rate, and you're telling me I need to refinance my home? No, I'm not.
Right. Again, not a blanket.
But I'm telling you that you can build wealth by potentially, refinancing from 3 to 7%.
Yeah.
You say, how in the world is that possible?
Right.
You got to look at everything else.
Right.
Okay. You have to put everything else into that of what you owe on. And again, credit cards are going to be the big hit here.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, that's where it all comes down.
You got to look at it.
I mean, you got to think about it. When people's got 15, 18, maybe more credit card debt, you know what I mean? And that's probably low. I think the average is $20-some thousand credit card debt.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying, like, when you look at that and you realize that those people are paying $1,200-$1,400 a month just to pay their minimum payment, they're not making a dent.
Which is total interest.
It's total interest.
Okay, they're paying interest.
Yeah, they're not making
your $3.12 that you're getting credit on.
Right.
No, you're paying interest.
Right.
You're paying interest.
Would it be smart to take that 25? So again, you got to take the whole thing into account. You are eliminating this 25% debt over here on $30,000, and now you're doing it for 7%. That's not.
It's building wealth.
Don't take a smart man to figure that out. No. That's probably a smart move.
We'll get bashed for this one.
We're going to get hit. I can tell you.
You got to sit down and look at those things. Now, we don't loan money. No. Okay. We don't advise.
I want to let you borrow $20, man.
No, we don't advise people financially. These are just options that people need to know about. I'm just telling you from the real estate side of this whole thing, you feel bad for people that when you get those calls and they're already so far gone that there are no options for them because nobody's sitting out there telling people, look, your home is a great asset to you, used correctly.
Right.
We're not telling nobody to go get a HELOC, not telling nobody to refinance, not telling nobody to add on. We're not telling none of that.
Right.
But those are options
that
a lot of people have across this country right now.
Right.
And a lot of it because is what's happening in the real estate market. Home prices have went up. Values have climbed. How long will that go? Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? But the situations that a lot of people are in financially are sad.
Yeah.
And they do have options because they're a homeowner and they don't know about them.
Right.
Well, we're going to be that somebody today that tells you here are 4 different avenues
that
you may want to sit down, think about, have conversations with the people who are going to be doing these things.
Right.
That may just save the biggest asset that you have, and that is your home.
Yeah.
From being taken from you and you losing every bit of that.
Yep.
You don't want to do that.
Yep. And we know
we don't want to see people do that.
Yeah. And we know there's people out there that say, that none of this pertains to them. And they think everybody should be perfect. Everybody should be up to date on their bills. Nobody should have 25% interest rate on credit cards. But let's just be honest. That's the world. That's the world. There's a lot of people that do. So those people are needing advice. They are needing stuff. So again, we're just telling you
that's what we're doing.
This is some stuff that you could use.
Sure.
Don't kick people when they're down.
No.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Help them. Try to help them get out of that situation. And again, none of these examples that we've given today might be the right answer for those people.
That's exactly right.
But at least we're telling them something
at
that
least we're putting the information out there. At least we're putting the information out there. Anything else you got to say about any of that?
No. I think it's again, it's good information. It's not a blanket information for everybody.
No.
But if it pertains to you, if this seems like something that maybe you could use,
that's right.
Talk to somebody about it. Again, I want to stress this because again, I know that there's a lot of people that are hurting. They are stretched tight right now.
Right.
Everything's thin. But if you own a house don't give that thing back.
No.
You know what I mean? Just don't give it back.
Try
at least without talking to somebody about what can I do here? What is my option?
Yes, no doubt about it. So this has been the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where we gave you 4 powerful strategies, again, that you could potentially look at to leverage your home and have some financial growth, build your net worth for you and whomever that it is that is relying on your finances, again, to provide a life for them. If we can help you in any way in buying, selling, investing in real estate in the Tennessee area, make sure you reach out to us or one of our wonderful agents here at Elite Realty Group. Until we see you, or maybe you hear from us next week, we hope this podcast has been beneficial to you. From all of us at Elite Realty Group, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. We will see you on the next podcast.